Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to talk about an absolute game changer for your productivity. I mean, if you've ever felt like you're spending way more time just setting up your work than actually doing it, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're looking at how you can transform yourself from a manual data entry worker into a literal workflow architect using Notion database automations. And specifically, we are tackling one of the most tedious, mind-numbing processes out there, client onboarding.
Here's the roadmap for this explainer. We'll hit number 1, the manual onboarding trap. Then 2, automations to the rescue. Moving right along to 3, triggering the workflow. 4, tasks and dynamic deadlines. 5, automating the done date. And finally, 6, expanding your system. We're going to start with the basics, build out a real-world case study, and wrap up with some seriously cool advanced tricks.
All right, part 1, the manual onboarding trap.
So, I want you to take a second and really think about this. How much time do you actually lose onboarding new clients? You know the drill, right? Every single time someone new signs on the dotted line, you have to spin up a whole new project. Then you're manually typing out, or maybe copy-pasting, the exact same checklist of tasks. You've got to assign those tasks to your team. You have to sit there and manually calculate all the due dates. It honestly feels like reinventing the wheel every single time. And the worst part, you're losing precious hours to repetitive administrative chores instead of focusing on the high-value work you actually want to be doing.
Just look at the stark contrast here. The manual way, that means wasting what, 20 minutes copying tasks, linking databases, and setting up deadlines just for one single client. Multiply that by 10 clients a month, and you've lost hours of your life. But the automated way, it literally takes 1 second. You just change a status on a client profile and boom, the system handles the whole shebang. It's a massive difference that completely redefines your team's capacity.
Moving to part 2, automations to the rescue.
So the crucial point is understanding exactly how Notion handles these background workflows. What is a database automation anyway? Basically, it's a sequence of actions, specifically triggers plus actions, that fire off anytime a specific change to a database occurs. Think of it as a super simple if this, then that framework. The trigger is the event that kicks things off, like editing a property, and the action is what happens as a result, like spinning up a brand new page in a totally different database. By chaining these together, you can literally eliminate repetitive task creation for good.
Okay, part 3, triggering the workflow. Let's actually build this thing.
Looking at the required foundation, this maps out the relational database architecture you need for this setup. You really just need 2 databases, a client's database and a tasks database. Over in the client's database, you've got the client name and a status property, like, say, active. Over in your tasks database, you have the task name, its own status property, and a due date. But the real magic? That happens with a relation property that links your clients directly to your tasks. That connection right there is exactly what allows an action in one database to automatically populate data in the other one.
So with our databases all linked up, here are the exact clicks you need to build that trigger. First, hop into your client's database and click the little lightning bolt icon up at the top right to create a new automation. Second, you'll set your trigger to when property is edited, and finally, you select the status property and tell it to fire when that status changes to active. This is the spark. Whenever you land a new client and flip their status to active, Notion is now waiting in the background, fully ready to execute the actions we're about to build.
Let's look at part 4, tasks and dynamic deadlines. This is where the aha moment really happens. The moment that status hits active, our setup tells Notion to start adding pages to our tasks database. Just look at this sudden cascade of actions. Instantly, it adds a page titled Send Welcome Email. It adds another one for Schedule Kickoff Call, and a third for Set Up Access. And guys, here is the absolute best part. Because of that relation property we set up earlier, the automation automatically links all of these brand new tasks right back to the trigger page, meaning the exact client you just marked as active. Just like that, a whole checklist of properly linked task items is generated with a single click. It's incredible.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the due dates are handled. Because you don't just want to create tasks, you want them actually scheduled on your calendar. So, in your automation action, when you're setting up the properties for the new task, you can use dynamic formulas for the due date. You literally just type now plus 3 days. Notion does the math, calculating the date exactly 3 days from the precise moment the automation runs and slaps it onto that task. You can use today, now plus 2 days, whatever fits your vibe. It ensures your deadlines are set perfectly every single time without you ever touching a calendar.
Moving into part 5, automating the done date.
Keeping track of exactly when tasks are finished is huge for analytics and billing, right? But let's be real, filling it out manually is a total chore. Well, here is a brilliant workaround for that pain point. In your tasks database, just create a date property and call it something like closed on. Then, make a new automation. Step 1, add a trigger for when the task status is set to done. Step 2, add an action to edit that new closed on date property. Step 3, set the date value to now. That is it. The literal second you drag a task over to done, Notion automatically captures the exact date and time it was completed. No more guessing and definitely no more manual data entry.
And hey, if you're wondering if these advanced techniques actually move the needle at scale, just check out this feedback from a Reddit user. They said, "Formulas and automations completely transformed my Notion setup. It's now far more integrated with over 10x speed improvements." 10x. That is not just some tiny efficiency boost, that's a fundamental shift in how fast you can operate. By linking your databases and gunning in these dynamic formulas, you're essentially building a workspace that manages itself.
Wrapping up with part 6, expanding your system.
Now, we do need to quickly talk about the requirements to access these features. While Notion's free plan does let you use basic button automations, the full database automations we just built today, the ones where background triggers spawn all these multiple actions, those do require a paid plan. Specifically, you need the Notion Plus plan, which is $10 a month per seat. But honestly, when you factor in the hours you're saving by automating your client onboarding, your project kickoffs, or your sales follow-ups, that investment easily pays for itself in just the first few automated tasks.
So I'm going to leave you with a question. What repetitive task are you going to automate in your workspace today to permanently reclaim your time? Whether you're setting up an onboarding sequence, tracking completion dates, or auto-assigning work, the tools are literally right there waiting for you. Get into those databases, look for that little lightning bolt icon, and start building. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and hey, happy automating.